agents do two types of activities. I call them the two different buckets, right? There's the growing your business and there's the running your business. There's the functionality of the deal and running your business, and then there's the growing your business, which is just how do I get those opportunities, right? And so the goal of our time here is to model what successful agents do every day and show how they do it in your specific authentic way of doing that, right? You each have a different way of connecting with people. Be that same person connecting with people and offering the services of a realtor. Okay, so in your growing business, you see here on the left-hand side, I guess we call it that, lead generate for buyers and sellers, make sellers listings presentations and get listings, make buyer presentations and get listings, and preview real estate, right? So it's making contacts, meeting people, making contacts, processing the opportunities that those leads have, and then moving into contract. And then you move over to your business, running the business, and that's the functionality of the business. Market seller listings, show buyers' houses, negotiate contracts, all the way down the list. Transaction management to closing, vendor management, goals, compliance, attending trainings and coaching, and then managing your money. That's on the business side of it, right? Let's move on, Troy. All right, so here, today it's all about, we're going to be doing 4 different things today, and that is defining your value, the 3 aspects of service, and know and state your value proposition. You have to be you have to understand who you are and how to translate that to people. In basic marketing principles, it's how do I connect with people now? What is that connective tissue? What is it that people like about me? What is it about that people trust about me? Who are the people that like and trust me? Why do they like and trust me? And how do I find more people like them and get me in front of them, right? So that more people could like and trust me and give me that opportunity. And that's about, that's about defining your value proposition, knowing what services you offer, and knowing how to state that to other people, creating messaging that reflects who you are. I'm sorry to use you as a example, Anna, but Anna loves art. She's an artist. She should not create a partition between that passion that she has and real estate, because the people who are attracted to Anna for the in a metaphysical way, the essence of who she is, right? What she loves, what she's passionate about, will also trust her over here. The way you act over here is the way you will act over here, right? The passion that she serves in her art is reflected in the passion she will show to helping clients achieve their real estate goals. Okay, so here's our roadmap for the day. First, we will define what the value proposition is, like I've said. Next, we'll explore the 3 essential aspects of the service we provide. And then we'll dig into the unique qualities of values, and finally craft our own powerful value proposition, right? All right. This is the new format, so I want to stay with it a little bit. So say a value proposition, right? What is a value proposition, you guys? What do you think that is?
What you bring to the table.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Anybody else? Right. So it's just
the strength that you have to what to present to your clients.
great. Right. It's just it's simple, but it should be simple and precise. It should be a simple and precise description of the benefits that a customer will receive by working with you. Right. It should, it's it doesn't have to be complex, and it's right in front of you guys. You have to be self-conscious of who you are, right? The best of you, right? You want to take the best of you, and you want to push that forward. Convey clearly what you great, super. So how will having prepared your value proposition, how do you think that having a value proposition will help you, or understanding what that value proposition, how do you think it will help you? Do you think it'll be easier? Yeah, no.
I just think it'll help to know what you're selling, essentially. If you know what you have to offer, it's easier to convince people of that.
Right. So I think there's probably 2 words in there that make it difficult for you to make those calls. The first word is selling, and the second word is convince. All right? You don't have to do either of those things, right? If you're thinking that's what I need to do on this call, I don't want to make the call either, right? You don't have to do either of those things, you guys. When you're going on a date, do you feel like you have to sell yourself to the other person? Do you have to convince them that you are worthy, right? If you are, you shouldn't, right? And I'm not saying to you, Anna, in particular, but just any of you, right? You should just be able to say, this person, to have a lasting relationship, this person needs to know who I am. If that works for them, then we can have a second date, right? And then if that works for them, and we can get to know each other more. And so it's relational. It's relational in the same way. You're not calling to sell or convince them of anything. You are there to build the relationship. What can I do for you today? How can I get to know you better? And how can I be of service for you today, so that if you have a need in the future, I'm your guy, right? So having a value proposition helps you. It should be an underpinning, right? Saying I am of value, and this is why I am of value, right? I am of value because I'm a passionate being who enjoys helping people get what they want, right? I'm a passionate. That's the underpinning of it all. Enjoy that, because it'll free you up to have more of those conversations when you're not worried about the outcome. All right, 3 aspects of service. Explain how defining your value leads directly to 3 aspects of service. Let's see what those are. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. Go ahead, Tara, if you may. So the 3 aspects of service are, let's see, purpose, value, and fiduciary. Okay? Your purpose is knowing the underlying purpose of real estate profession, and that is the how-tos, the mechanics of real estate. The value is to have and communicate a clear sense of how you deliver on that purpose, right? So this is how I get you what you want. And then the fiduciary is to exhibit a continual drive to put your client's needs above all else, right? That is the most The fiduciary is interesting. You know, that's the most technical term, and it's the most caring piece of it, right? So when Gary Keller was researching for the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he noted that every top 8 producing agent he spoke with had a deep and almost inherent sense of service. You cannot grow a real estate business if you don't prioritize your client's experience above all else. A stellar experience is how you earn your commission and get referrals. We've identified 3 aspects of service and know the underlying purpose of real estate, a compelling value proposition, and a fiduciary. Together, these 3 aspects guarantee that your clients will have the best possible real estate experience. So, first question, what is the underlying purpose of real estate? It's different for buyers and sellers. So for buyers, it's about finding them the right home and at the best price and at the right time with the least amount of problems, right? What happens to your clients' buying or selling experience if you don't understand that this is the underlying purpose? If you don't understand that your job is to get them the best financial return in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassles. Boom. It's significant that one phase is shared with buyers and sellers. I'm sorry, it's significant that one phrase is shared with buyers and sellers with the least amount of problems, right? You are there as the educated professional to guide them on the easiest path. And when I say easy, it doesn't mean that there are no problems, you guys. There's always going to be problems. You have the tools to solve those problems, or you have the resources and support system to help you solve those problems. Does that make sense? So, as a realtor, we are, what are some problems you have anticipated for your clients, and what have you done to avoid them? And you guys are kind of new, but it's okay. What do you perceive as being some of the problems? And how would you solve them?
I mean, I haven't really dealt with clients yet, but one thing that's come up that I thought was pretty great advice is if you know, I'm not going to know everything off the bat, and there's going to be questions that come up that I may not know the answer to, but a couple of people have said at different times the best thing is to just be honest and say you're not sure, and you'll get back to them with an answer, because as long as you're communicating with them and you let them know that you'll find out for them, that's all they really need to know.
Absolutely.
They don't want you to give them an answer you're making up, and they also just don't want you to say, I don't know, and leave it there.
There's no need to BS anybody. There's no need.
Right.
Listen, I think I know the answer. I think I know the correct answer to this. Just let me check first, or I'm not. I don't want to give you the wrong answer to this. Let me just check, and I'll get right back to you. Right? Is there anything else that you wanted to ask? Right? Is there any other questions that I? Right? So lawyers say that, right? Doctors say that, right? I know that you want to be the know-all in that process, but there's a lot of moving parts, right? There's a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot of information, so if we don't know anything, just say we'll get back to you and ask the experts and get back to them.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid to Don't over-explain it. Just keep it nice and tight. And most importantly, when you set that up, is to get back to them in a timely manner, right? Get back to them with the answer in a timely manner. Let me just check on that, just so I make sure I'm giving you the right answer, right? All right, let's move on. Value proposition. Bum 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 bum. Speaking of our value proposition, let's define what that is exactly. Your value proposition distills your service offerings. Well, your value proposition distills your service offerings into a succinct set of benefits for your client. It states what you do for the client to earn your commission and helps to explain the complexity of what you do. It also helps you be accountable to high standards, right? So you're saying, this is what I do, this is how I do it, this is this is what your expectations can be, right? As we reflect on this definition, what do you see as the value of your value proposition? Or why is it important enough to be included in our 3 aspects of service, right? What do you see as the value of your value proposition? How do you, well, we start, I so want to have you start to think about you in this. Not you playing the role of a realtor, but how you value, what value you present to your clients. And in that, you might want to think about what you value in a service also. I think that's important because I think that's probably reflects back onto you, right? So what, what do you see as your value proposition? Let's go around and you just tell me one thing that is that you I was going to use the word unique, but it doesn't have to be unique. Just tell me one word that you think you bring, the value you bring. Just one word that could be an adjective. Eric, why don't you go first?
Determination.
Determination. Great. Anna?
Follow through.
Follow through. How about you, Julia? What do your friends see as a value of being in relationship with you?
Loyalty.
What was that, sweetie?
Loyalty.
Loyalty. Great. It's important. Excellent. Michael?
Communication.
Excellent. Amal?
Consistent and clarity.
Great. Almas?
Being good listener and honesty.
Excellent. All are important values in life and in business, right? It's no mystery, right? So let's see. So how does changing the phrasing change your client's perception? So it's about taking those attributes and putting them in the framework of a business conversation, value into your value proposition. In a moment, you're going to craft your own value proposition statement. And before we do that, I want to talk about the final aspect of service. Functionary versus fiduciary. The third and final aspect of service is fiduciary, right? And so what is a fiduciary and how is it different than a functionary? So let's go way back to the middle school English class. Well, not so way back for you, Julia, but fiduciary is both an adjective and a noun. As an adjective, it refers to something dealing with trust, especially relationships. You have a fiduciary duty to your clients to protect their best interest during what will likely be the largest and most frightening transaction of their life, right? As a noun, fiduciary refers to a person who has a fiduciary obligation. You are your client's fiduciary. You are there to protect them, to be their guide through this process. And to, and it's, they trust you. It's a trust relationship, right? And so you see, you see how having that statement, that value proposition statement is your connective tissue to your client's trust and trust relationship, right? So being a fiduciary is a big deal, right? Oh, okay, I skipped over a part. Wait, a functionary, in comparison, is one who completes tasks for a client, whereas a fiduciary completes tasks and goes beyond by placing their client's interests ahead of all, even their own. Okay? So, and you will, in this process, you will, you will make choices for your client. You will help your client. You will make opinions, give your client opinions that don't benefit you. This house is probably not your house, right? You don't have to, you don't have to sell that house to them. You want to allow them, you want to create an environment where they can be cathartic and have an honest conversation about the disconnect in any decision, whether it's a house or whether it's the time to walk away from a deal or the time to get out of a deal, right? So a functionary is about closing the deal. That's all it is. It doesn't, I don't care my client's needs or the person on the other side's needs. It's about getting the deal done, and that's it. So we are fiduciaries, and we have a fiduciary duty per our license. Being a fiduciary is a big deal, and it's an honor. It's more important than ever in today's market to wear this badge of honor proudly. Helping your clients understand your fiduciary role is a big part of your value proposition, right? I am on your team to get you what you want. We're going to go through a conversation to find out what you want, and it's my job to find what you want, to get you in a contract to what you want, and to get you moved into your home, right? That's my job. It's not my job to sell you a property, right? So, what are some ways that you serve as your client's fiduciary during a real estate transaction? It's one way.
I mean, you should be, they shouldn't have to call you. I think that when you're taking care of them, that would mean that you're constantly letting them know what's going on, you're giving them updates, and they have confidence in you because you're constantly, letting them know what's going on in the situation. And if they have questions, they know they can go to you.
Being proactive is definitely is definitely of value as a fiduciary, right? They trust that you know the process and that you are guiding them and keeping them up to date on it. Anybody else?
So communicate with them with everything you do and letting them know what you're planning or to do to sell their property.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Anyone else? All right, let's move on to know and state your value proposition, right? All right. Bum, 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 bum. So now that we're going to talk about your value proposition. We're going to look at some data around what clients want, and we're going to get a big picture look at your current real estate market, and we'll discuss some ways that technology can boost your value proposition. Right? So let's. So as we're going through this, I want you to think about your value proposition. These slides are present. You can go back to the numbers, but think about how do I apply this information to the underpinning of my client's experience, right? Because that's what we're trying to do. So before we do that, however, I want you to look at page 5 in your participants guide. There's a space to write about yourself, your strengths, and your perspectives. Just take a few minutes and write down some responses. This will be the beginning of crafting your unique value proposition, right? So just write down some words or phrases about your strengths and your perspectives on being a service provider. All right, take a minute or two.
Where should we write it?
So page 5.
Oh.
Be extemporaneous. Don't overthink it. Free up your mind a little bit.
Mm.
Let's go and stay for it.
Were you talking to me?
Yeah, just saying hi.
Oh, hey, sorry, came late.
All right. Okay, so let's move on. We'll get back to that because we're going to keep adding to that. We're going to take words from that list. We're going to take those phrases, and we're going to build our value proposition out of some of that. So here's a look at what buyers want most from a realtor. The graph covers the top 3 responses and categorizes everything else as other. You can see the complete list in your student handout. I believe it's on page 6, right? So, why are we talking about this in our conversation about value proposition, guys? We're talking about it because knowing what the sellers want will help us understand how to build a pathway for them in our value proposition, how to address what sellers want in our value proposition. So what do we find out from this particular slide?
Are you talking about what buyers want?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like, oh, well, seems like mostly they want you to find the right house to purchase.
52% of them do. Absolutely. And then there's 14, the next, other 23% is other, and that you see in your book there. But 14% want to help negotiating the terms of the sale, and the other wants help in 11% in helping with the price negotiations. This is what sellers are. These are the three top things buyers are focused on, right? Finding your home. So when you are creating your value proposition, you might want to address some of these, right? All right, next Tara. Oh, there's something that we need to add on. The list on page 6.
They probably want also the best deal or best price, or for the
That's
property.
negotiating the price, right? That would fall into
Negotiating.
the 11% of help with price negotiations, getting them the best price. Right? All right. This is what buyers value when choosing a partner in their query to find a house, right? When asked the most important factor in choosing a real estate agent, these were the top 5 answers from the buyers. You have the complete list again in your handout, I believe on page 6. And then, so review that list, and what do you see in that list? What are some ahas from that list on, I believe, is it on page 6, I think, or page 7?
Reputation is most important, obviously.
Yeah. And then go down from reputation, right? I think reputation is a big bucket, right? Honesty and trustworthiness is what defines your reputation. So I guess I would ask you guys, what defines your reputation? What is it that you're, like I asked Julia earlier, Julia's a high school student. Julia, what do your friends value in you, right? That's the same thing that her future clients will value in her. It's the same, while all of you are out of high school at this point, it is the same. It's all one and the same of how your clients perceive you. It's that connective tissue that makes you a good friend, right? Any other ahas from that list that I'm not showing on here? Sorry.
What would you consider examples of other to be? Like,
other value. I mean, some people love somebody who's a tough negotiator, right? I mean, somebody who's tough, somebody somebody who knows the numbers really well, right? Somebody who's analytical, that kind of thing. Isn't there? Do they define others? The other categories on page 7, I think it is, of your participants guide. I don't have that guide in front of me.
I also don't have the guide in front of me.
I don't either.
Oh, all right. You can download those guides.
I know. I don't have it either.
Okay, so you guys should probably download those guides for every class, and you could, Tara will send you the link again. Okay? Is that possible, Tara?
I'm going to go ahead and send it to everybody right now, actually.
Great.
Thank you.
Maybe what we should do, Tara, is send the link or post the link on the chat for the participant guide for that particular module every time, right?
Yes, they are in the Google Drive. So let me give you guys just access to the drive right now because all the pamphlets are on there, and then you guys can just go class by class.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So let's practice talking these attributes, taking these attributes and putting them into client-valued or client-centered language. Hopefully you'll get some ideas for when you craft your own value proposition, right? So select one of the factors, buyer's value on page 6, and rephrase it into language that explains its value to a buyer. For instance, agent is honest and trustworthy, right? Could be, you can depend on me to help you make the best decisions, right? So when you're saying an agent is honest and trustworthy, you can create a narrative that says you can depend on me to help you make the best decisions, or I will work to serve your best interest, right? That's a human way of saying that I'm honest and trustworthy, or that I value honesty and trustworthiness. So go through that list on page 7 that Tara's sending you now, right? And check off some words that you believe are your value proposition, right? Are part of your value proposition. And you're going to want to start creating some sentences around that, right? Like we did with the honesty and trustworthiness. Make it you. It has to be your voice. All right, there's Tara. Got that in there. All right. Has Ed been breaking you into smaller groups for any reason? For these things, for these little projects? Okay. So why don't we just take a moment, and I'll be here. We could talk through it as you go along, but start to rephrase those attributes into sentences, right? That's what we're trying to build onto. Does that make sense? This is just on the buyer side, right? We're going to do the same thing on the seller side too. Any questions?
What page are you on again? Did you say 7?
7. Yeah. There was a list on 6 and there was a list on 7.
All right. I might be in the wrong document.
This is session number 6, Duran.
Where did you send it to? To the email?
Oops.
Got it.
She put so everyone, please check your email. I just shared the Google Drive and KW Master folder under Ignite 2.0. You will see all the classes. Click on the class number 6. And there's a link in there, Amal.
Okay.
There were 3 links actually. I found, I think it's the second one down is the one that we should be looking at.
Yeah, it says it'll say participant all the way at the end. So it goes facilitator, participant, and presentation. You guys want the participant one.
If you just click on it right here.
Okay.
Good, right? So we know what the most important attributes are for the buyer's value in an agent, and we also know what they are looking for in a deal, right? Extrapolate, start attaching words to you and your way of doing business. And in even more simplified term, start putting words to you that define how you relate to people and how you how you, the principles, the way you live your life, right? I think is, if you float up a little bit, you can actually use that on every level of your life. This is not just, locked down to real estate. I like friends who are honest and trustworthy, right? That's important to me. I value that in those relationships. All right, so if you haven't gotten that far in this, when we, as a after class exercise, do this and start developing it. I just want to make sure you guys get all the information, and I still have a little ways to go. So let's move on to the seller part of this conversation, and it gets, now we understand this is what sellers want most, right? They want help. They want help selling, marketing their home to potential buyers, right? That's the number one thing. It's 20% want you to market. How are you going to market my home to a potential buyer, right? Next, of course, equal is pricing your home. So pricing, marketing, and sell within a specific time frame. That's the next one down, right? That's all. So it's they are most interested in the marketing of my home. How are you going to put my home out there? How are we going to get the best price for it, and in the shortest amount of time, right? Right, and then what sellers value. They value reputation of the agent. Again, guess what? A lot of people value trustworthiness and honesty. I hope they're not just saying it because they think that's what we want to hear, but it really means something, right? Agent's a friend or a family member, and or agent's experience is the fourth 16%. And there's a slew of other things, and that's on page 9, all those words. So we're going to pick words from page 6, page 7, page 8, and page 9. It's what buyers want, what buyers value, what buyers, I'm sorry, that's what it is. Yeah, what buyers, what sellers value, and what sellers want. That's what we're looking at. And there's a list of words that you want to take out, not aspirational words. Make them that you have to be able to own those adjectives, okay? Or you're putting a costume on. Make sure they directly relate to you and what you value in as a service provider and as a human being, right? Because then you're going to move to the next part, which is building out a narrative that explains that. So if you're here, it's probably because you're new to the industry, and that's great. Everyone starts somewhere. In your guide, there is a place to record your opportunities for growth. I want you to use that space, not to beat yourself up because you don't have 15 years of real estate experience, but to record some areas you'd like to improve for your clients. It could be something you could do differently today, or it could be something in the 3-year goal. So there's a today goal, a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal. And that's why I said don't choose aspirational language on those lists. Choose words that really mean something to you now and that you believe you can deliver on more importantly. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so who are your competitors? Real estate has undergone significant changes in the past few years. Investors have come in with the intent to disrupt the industry, and they have. iBuyers are driving down commission prices, and some companies are moving towards eliminating the agent altogether, right? So it's this time more important than anything else, any other time in our industry, that we need to know our value proposition, and we need to be able to articulate that value proposition. All right. So who are your local competitors? Who are you competing with for clients and your commission? Right. You want to look at. You're a business person. You're open to a business. You want to know who is in your same sector. What are their value propositions, and why would somebody choose them? It's not your job to mirror what they're doing. It's your job to understand what they're doing, what people value in that transaction, and how they are articulating their value proposition, right? And how do you counter those with your value proposition? I would assert that most agents outside of Keller Williams don't understand. They're working like wild animals. They're feral animals. They're going out there and they're just doing their thing. The more they have, the more they get, and they just keep going until they screw up in a big way and their business implodes, or they just keep going and just feeding off the momentum that they create and the market awareness that they receive from doing a bunch of deals in a specific area. You are going at it in a much more substantive way, in understanding what your value proposition and your drivers are in your business, and being able to articulate that information to your clients and have them attracted to you for who you are. You're going to have a lot less stress because there's not a disconnect between you and your client. And you're going to be able to sustain your business for longer, right? So I'll ask the question. You've all been in it long enough to be looking at the competition. What is it in the competition that you think people are attracted to? Who is the local realtor in the area that you live in that's getting the most opportunity? And why do you think they are getting that opportunity?
They're connecting more with clients.
Okay, great. Anybody else? Oh, Michael, you keep disconnected. There you go.
Yeah, I would say something that I noticed with successful agents or like groups is they're really big into social media, and I feel like they get a lot of opportunities through that. So I think that that's an important aspect to look at.
Are they just saying, look what I did? Are they just saying, oh, I sold this. Oh, I leased this. Oh, I just got my buyer this. Is that all they're saying?
No, I noticed like the best ones and the ones that I feel like their followers probably have the most confidence in them is people that are just unsolicited, answering questions that are probably things that a lot of people that are maybe first-time home buyers or just looking to buy or sell would ask, but not necessarily know who to go to. They're just making themselves more of like an information beacon for people rather than just kind of showing what they have and waiting for people to ask questions about it. They're answering them first.
Being a source of local knowledge is really, really important. And it's, you know, the more that people see you in that capacity, the more trustworthy, the more they can trust your ability to get them what they want. Because the bottom line is people go in business with you because they believe that you can get them what they want. And how do I illustrate that to someone that I've never met before? How do I instill that trust in a relationship that does not exist today, right? And the opposite. How do I convey that trust to people that I already know, right? How do I convey their trust in my ability to get them what they want when they know me in some other capacity, right? It's reimagining yourself, not as a the caricature of a realtor, but yourself with this passion around a process and a business that services people to buy, sell, and lease properties. Right? That's excellent, guys. Okay, let's move on to so technology. Here's a great thing about being with Keller Williams. The company is committed to adding to your value proposition. In today's market, that means investing in technology that propels your business forward. We've already talked about Command and the KW app. Now I want to focus on tech that affects your clients. Agent sites allow clients to search for homes. It allows agents to create searches on behalf of their contacts and clients. Also, individualized IDX sites create personalized landing pages for your clients that allow them to see activity in very specific neighborhoods and areas that they care about. So you're creating these landing pages specifically for your clients. The KW app also has an end-to-end consumer app that uses the power of AI, machine learning, and your expertise to communicate and provide transactional transparency. They get to see the whole process right in front of them. And it reminds the clients of your value well after they've closed the deal, okay? So this technology is there to enhance the client experience while they're looking for properties, while they're making offers on properties, while they're in a deal. You can refer to your participants guide to learn more about these particular pieces. And you can also visit the KW Connect /tech-enabled agent and identify a piece of technology that strengthens your value proposition. Don't try to eat the whole thing, right? Pick out one piece of that technology that you really believe resonates your value proposition, right? And build on that. Once you got that underway and engaged with your client base, then you can think about adding a second piece on. All right, additional technology. All right, let's move on to activities. And that is to, we're going to be crafting your value proposition. In Participants Guide, page 12 and 13, right? That's where we are. Remember, your value proposition is a unique, memorable, and persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working with you. It says what you're doing to earn your commission and holds you accountable to the high standards that you lay out in that value proposition. All right? And so refer to page 12 and 13. Once the activity, once you have this completed value proposition, we're going to share it, right? And so what I'd like you all to do is you have my value proposition is that I am committed to helping agents and leadership find what they want. I want to be a part of the leadership experience for all of you in your business. I want to be a source of education. I want to be a source of problem solving, and I want to be a source of your growth. Right? So let's let's figure out. You're going to, I don't think we have time in this in this session to for you guys to build out your value proposition fully, and I would like you to share it with me. So when you go through this process, pick out the words, develop the statements, and put it all together into a statement, can you please send it to me, to my email, so I can wallow in it, and we can discuss it if you like. If you have some questions, you can also email me on that also. All right, Tara, let's move forward. So this is asserting that you have a value proposition. And so now that you have a unique value proposition statement, let's take a look at what delivering on the statement means. Not delivering the statement, right? But delivering on the value proposition, delivering on the statement. Do you recall what KW's stance is on integrity? It's simple. Integrity is all things, right? And so we have a set of standards, value proposition. It's the Y4C2Ts that we use as a code of ethics in Keller Williams. And I don't have it in front of me, but when you go to KW Connect, it's WI, the number 4, C2TS, right? And you will be able to find out what each is an acronym for our code of ethics. And the I is integrity in all things, right? Win-win, integrity in all things. Those two are the two I remember off the top of my head. Okay, let's move forward, Tara. So, a value proposition isn't just a value proposition isn't just something you say, it's something you deliver on. Now that you're able to explain your value proposition, how do you apply it? How does it become you in your business? What kinds of knowledge are you expected to have? What kind of knowledge would truly set you apart from your competition, right? So it's about analyzing what I know, what I need to know, and setting a plan out for getting that information that you do not have and getting mastery of the information that you do have. You should also have, this continuous drive for knowledge and improvement is part of your 6 personal perspectives. Which perspective or perspectives do you think this applies to? Did you guys review the 6 personal perspectives in previous classes?
Mhm.
Do you have, what do you think that, so in understanding what knowledge you have and what knowledge you need to have to compete in the marketplace, which personal perspectives do you think that, that applies to?
Mm.
So it's a mindset of being learning based, right? And it's a commitment to self-mastery, right? It's saying, I am always growing and I grow through education. Well, they're two different. Two of the 6 personal perspectives, right? How do you learn these? So we want to grow and keep our expertise, right? We want to keep learning and developing more mastery. But that doesn't mean that we don't exercise the information that we have today. That's how we learn. Will there be mistakes made? Absolutely. Will we fall on our face at some point? Absolutely. But that is an indication of your participation. And it's an important rite of passage in growth, in life and in business. There are no differences in those, right? Okay. All right. So let's. So in that, we're creating a stellar experience. We're taking this value proposition and we're creating an experience for our clients on these precepts. And the 3 aspects of service, knowing the purpose of real estate, your value proposition, and your fiduciary role all contribute to the same goal, ensuring the best experience for your client. Now that you understand each of these aspects, it's on you to deliver the best experience. Okay, so this is all building blocks. These are all building blocks of your business. You understanding who you are and what the value of being in business with you, and being able to articulate that to clients through either directly or indirectly, and then being able to deliver on what you say your value is the key to being successful in business, right? So what qualifies as an excellent real estate experience? Look at what your expectations, what goes beyond what you expected, right? What services are you or your office responsible for providing? And how do you exceed those expectations for your client to create raving fans? What allied resources can you leverage to improve the client experiences, right? When lender, all the people that aid in the process of closing a deal, they all affect your client's experience, right? I'm in relationship with Andy as a lender, and I really believe in her. And I really believe that she enhances my client's experience through the deal, right? She understands what my value proposition is, and she reflects that same value proposition in her business. Having people and respected resources for your clients is a very important piece of building your brand. You should also develop relationship with business in your town that people might need after they move in, right? Understanding who great doctors and hairstylists and pet service, all of that. You want to be a trusted source for all things. That's how you continue to add value for your clients. This not only enables you to provide excellent service for your clients after they buy a house, it can also serve as a source for referrals. You stay in contact, you continue to add service, to be of service for your clients enables them to think of you on the daily, right? Okay, let's move on. So now that you have a unique value proposition statement and we know what it means to deliver on your value proposition, let's recap and share some ahas, right? The goal of our time together is to help you think, feel, and act, and use what you've learned to ignite your passion and help you achieve your big why, right? So let's share any ahas to this class we have today, right? Any ahas?
Yeah, I'll share.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can see the importance of creating the value proposition, knowing myself and being able to communicate that is important. And like, as an artist, I don't communicate in words. So coming up with that is like really hard for me.
Yeah, but it's a process, right? It's not pixie dust, right? It's a process. So you have a list of words. You choose those words. You create sentences about those words, and then you put it together, right? It's about creating an outline. It's not braggadocious. It's not and it's not the last one you'll ever write. Right? You can always adapt it as you move forward, just like your big why.
Okay.
For sure. Don't get wrapped up in humility. It's I do it all the time. It's prohibitive. It's prohibitive.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Should we work on it over the weekend and then send it to you?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I want you to do. Thanks, Amal. Any other ahas from today? So these are, I like these questions. How has your thinking changed? What you learned today? What ideas or mindsets were new moving forward, right? What do you, go ahead, Michael.
Sorry. One thing that it seems like is really important to people is experience. And so, I mean, just like a little side thing that popped up in my head is like a good response to that is obviously most of us don't really have experience right now, but the good thing about being new at Keller Williams is that we are part of the coaching program. So we basically have a mentor. Also, we don't have a ton of clients yet. So really our focus is on whoever we're working with at the time. So, I mean, there are definitely benefits and positive sides to being new. And it's really all just how you spin it, I think. And just knowing that in the back of your head and having answers for things like that, rather than like getting stuck on it when that comes up. I think that that's important. So that was what I took away from this.
Absolutely. One thing is, don't confuse experience with experience, right? And so there's the experience you have, and you can't create that out of the nothingness, right? Well, you can over time, but you can't create it today, right? You can't be a 15-year veteran of real estate today. But you're creating, excuse me, oh, sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. You're creating a client experience also, right? You can still create an experience for your client that is fruitful in them achieving what they want to achieve without having all the experience, right? So that's the same. Don't confuse experience with experience. It's experience is important, and client experience is important, right? You are going to work on both of those, right? Think about a time in your life when you experienced like exemplary customer service, like above and beyond your expectation, right? At a hotel or a restaurant or even a department store, you know. There are some brand, I worked at Ralph Lauren years ago, and they really taught me how to understand the lifestyle concept, right? And you're living that lifestyle. You are supposed to be exemplifying that lifestyle that your clients that you want your clients to experience, right? It's objects, it's clothes, it's environment, it's language, it's all of those things that create the client experience. Whether you're conscious of it or not, the client's having one, right? I talked about this morning on the call, I talked about, you know, the different, I have a friend who has a very high-end Beverly Hills salon. And it's mostly women, but he personally has a clientele been coming to him for years. Men getting haircuts just like basic guy haircuts, and he's charging them $350. And you know, I know that, you know, I have friends who are getting comparable haircuts for $50, right? But he creates an experience through the environment, through the service that is delivered before and after, whether it's washing of the hair, the bringing of a cappuccino, and then he's also delivering the service itself, right? That's what defines his brand and his experience, that people are willing to pay $350 for like a basic man's haircut. It's crazy. But
Kind of, it's for like just a small group of people that can afford that lifestyle.
it's not as small as you might think, but yes, of course, you are delivering an experience, but that reflects him, right? You have to figure out what reflects you and the experience that you want to create and the experience that you value. I'm not saying that he does it absolutely authentically. It's not a push for him. It's absolutely authentic. He lives it and breathes it, and he does it in a casual manner, and he's not offended if you can't afford that and you don't want that. He doesn't judge. He doesn't look down on anybody. It's just, hey, if you would like this experience, please enjoy, right? And I think there's value to that in all of our businesses. But he's very, very conscious of the experience that he you know, from his receptionist to the cappuccino he deliver, you know, that the receptionist makes, that, you know, the cappuccino, the receptionist gets like barista training, you know, it's that all adds to the experience. What else? Any other ha-has today? So what do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you today? How will your behaviors be different going forward? And what actions will you take going forward? What tools, models, or systems will you definitely use? How will they make you accountable to your goals? I love that.
So, you know, think about ourselves, like how can we find our value to them and pinpoint the value that we can offer to help the client.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else? The ahas? Answer these questions down below. I think it's great questions for ahas. Excuse me. All right, so if not, we're gonna sign off here. I'm gonna remind you, contacts, conversions, handwritten notes, previewing homes. 10-4. It's the key to your business. Adding contacts to your database, having conversations with those contacts, writing handwritten notes, and previewing homes. It's your job, guys, every day for a successful business. All right. How you do that? That's each of your special sauce, right? There's also some scripts here that you should be practicing that can help you in your daily growth, and also the practice those scripts every day. Find a peer partner and practice the scripts that are meaningful to you. Okay, because you gotta make them authentic. They have to be baked in for them really to work. Any other questions or ahas that you would like to share before we sign off? I'm gonna have a piece of gum. It's great to see you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Joey.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too, bud.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, baby. Hi. 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 Oh, I think she's adorable. Big
That's
love.
my granddaughter.
Oh, I know. Adorable.